Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is exactly 8:56 a.m. South African time. We cross over to Azizia in the Holy Lands, and we're going to be talking now with Moaaz Casoo. He is the president of SAHUC. Alhamdulillah, he is in the Holy Lands. Please remember us in your du'as, inshallah. But we are here to talk about a touchy subject, and we believe that South African pilgrims were denied entry into Saudi Arabia due to some visa technicality, visa issues, etc. What on earth is going on, and how many South African pilgrims were affected by this act?
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Julie, and to the listeners of Salam Media. I trust you're all doing well today.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, we were contacted on Sunday, I can't recall the exact time, by one of the pilgrims informing us that they are at the Jeddah International Airport at immigration and they're not allowing them through to come entry into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, we don't have any details of this charge because they did not come via SAHUC. The visas that were issued to them were the Mujamila courtesy visas, which are normally issued via the Saudi Embassy in Pretoria, South Africa. So SAHUC is not aware of these visas. They're not aware of the process that was followed at all. We were only given a call by the sister informing us they need some assistance. When we received the call, we requested the sister to send us their passport details, to send us their visas. At the time when she sent us all her details, we forwarded all the information to the Saudi Embassy in South Africa to see if they can assist these who charge. But unfortunately, the sister mentioned that according to the immigration officials in Saudi Arabia, the visa was fraud. Fraudulent document was in her possession. When we inquired where did she receive her visa from, she informed us that there was a travel operator from Johannesburg who issued her this Mujamila courtesy visa. This is not an accredited Hajj operator, so we cannot comment. We're not going to mention the name until the judge takes legal action and opens up a case against the individual who at this point in time is known. I see that some names have been going around, but we as SAHUC are not going to mention the name until the sister opens up a case and legal matters are taken care of from her side.
So, Moaaz, do you know then what has happened to the sister? How many people were involved in this incident where they were not allowed into the kingdom, and were they then sent back to South Africa?
Correct. To our knowledge, it was a sister and her husband, if I'm not mistaken, or the brother. But we received two passports, and they arrived, I think, on Sunday morning, 3 a.m. We tried to assist them via the Saudi Embassy, but unfortunately, because of them being stopped at immigration and being advised it's fraudulent visa being issued, there is nothing that SAHUC can do, nothing that the Saudi Embassy can do. Before we were informed it was fraudulent documents, we tried to cancel the visa via the Saudi Embassy in South Africa and reissue the visa through the Saudi Embassy because it's a Mujamila visa. But the moment it was informed by immigration it's a fraudulent visa, then nothing can happen at that point in time. They kept the judge at the airport, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, early on Monday morning, they sent them back to South Africa.
So, what is a Mujamila visa, and why would people go for that option rather than through the travel agent that they're booking their Hajj flights? I mean, that is the safest way to go, is it not? Get the travel agent to apply for their visas.
Correct. So Mujamila visa is a courtesy visa being issued by the Saudi Embassy. It's an annual thing that happens. Normally, you will find people who are repeat Hujjaj and want to come for Hajj over and over again. They source these Mujamila visas via the Saudi Embassy. Or if somebody does not want to wait in the SAHUC queue for maybe 8 years or 7 years, whatever the case it takes to be accredited by SAHUC, then you will find South Africans acquiring the Mujamila visa. Unfortunately, it is outside our hands, it is outside our jurisdiction. We don't even know how many are being issued each year. It is only when the pilgrims have a challenge or any issue when they arrive in Saudi do we find out that this is a South African citizen and they've obtained a Mujamila visa. When a person with a Mujamila visa arrives in the kingdom, if we are at the airport welcoming the fellow South African who charge via SAHUC, we will look after these who charge, we will advise them, we will guide them. They are more than welcome to use our clinic facilities at a fee that we will charge them. So we are there to support them, we are there to assist them, provided they don't use the facilities in Mina and Arafat, which is provided for the SAHUC accredited route charge. So it is an annual thing that happens. Unfortunately, we don't have any information of these who charge. We don't have any information of the amount of charge that arrive via the Mujamila visa until after the Hajj season. It is only after the Hajj season that we are given all the details by the Saudi embassy or by the Muassasa that we are aware of exactly how many South Africans came via the Mujamila visa process.
And this particular visa, the Mujamila visa, is probably costs the same as your regular visa via the travel agent. I'm just trying to understand why people would go this route. Apart from what you've indicated, they are repeat Hujjaj, and obviously if they go via SAHUC, they won't be allowed to go for Hajj because of the long queues, the long waiting list for people to go on Hajj. And the fairest thing for SAHUC to be doing in this instant is to accommodate the people that have been waiting for years and years and years to go on Hajj. So this really is indicating that they shortcut the situation and go via this route to be able to go on Hajj. But what are the cost implications for this particular visa?
Okay, normally the visa is fairly standard. There is no real difference between the SAHUC visa and the Mujamila visa. The only challenge is the Mujamila visa, you got to purchase your 5-day package. And your 5-day package is in the region of around 13,000 riyals per person. Whereas a South African who charge via SAHUC for the same allocation or similar allocation in Mina will only pay about 5,000 riyals for that visa.
Ooh.
And when a person obtains a Mujamila visa, they need to source their own flights. They need to do their own accommodation in Mecca, Medina, and Azizia. So you can imagine it's a costly affair for those who obtain the Mujamila visas compared to the South Africans who come via SAHUC. But in terms of the visa itself, what we have heard, what we have seen over the years is people exploit those in desperation and charge them exorbitant fees for the visa itself. And I'm not too sure what fee they charge at this point in time, but we hear via the grapevine that sometimes people charge 10,000, 15,000 rand just for the visa, whereas it's not the case. You pay around 300 to 400 riyals for the Hajj visa. So it does get abused, and unfortunately, it's something that is out of our control. It is something that we need to speak to the Saudi embassy to see how they can put measures in place to prevent these ridiculous pricing for the visas and exploitation of the South African who charge, whether it be a repeat or whether it be a first-time pilgrim. We need to have discussions with the Saudi embassy to see how this can be controlled going forward, inshallah.
Astaghfirullah is all I can say. It is so sad that in the name of religion and this really spiritual journey of a lifetime, which should be at every point from the beginning right to the end of this journey, the spiritual journey, which is by invitation, strictly by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are meant to be there, then you will be there. But these type of situations arise, and a lot of exploitation is happening, emotional and otherwise. And you kind of think that as Muslims, we wouldn't go and apply devious methods in getting into the Holy Lands, because you're going for such a spiritual journey to go and perform Hajj. But prior to embarking on this journey, you're involved in all of these nefarious type of transactions just to get there. And perhaps the Hujjaj are so desperate to get there that they open themselves up to exploitation. And then our own Muslim brothers and sisters are in fact the exploiters. It is very, very sad, very disheartening. But let's move on a very positive and light note, inshallah. What is the mood and the feeling like in Azizia and the Holy Lands?
Alhamdulillah, it seems to be going quite well. We are currently doing orientation at various operators, hotel buildings, discussing the logistics for Hajj, the 5 days. We're meeting a lot of Hujjaj in Azizia, like I said, at the hotels, we're meeting them in the streets. So Alhamdulillah, everyone seems to be calm, they're relaxed, they're excited. I mean, you can see the nerves, you can see the anxiousness on their faces. We got to calm them down, the operators are calming them down. But everything seems to be in order, Alhamdulillah, this year compared to previous years. For the first time, SAHUC has received the Mina camps and Arafat camps at least a week or two in advance, which has never happened before. Normally, we only receive these camps on the eve of going to Mina, and we got to prepare within minimal time the camps for the Hujjaj. So Alhamdulillah, this year Arafat, the camps has already been signed off. We've handed over the Arafat camps to the travel operators based on their quota allocation. And inshallah, by tomorrow or Thursday morning early, we should be able to hand over the Mina camp to the travel operators. And once again, it will be based on their quota allocation to prevent any Hujjaj who are not via SAHUC from entry into the Mina camps. SAHUC has also made a wristband that is going to be worn by every single Hujjaj that has been accredited by us. And it is only in the interest of the Hujjaj that have come via SAHUC. We have implemented this system to prevent those who are not via SAHUC from entry into the camp and stealing the beds of the fellow South African Hujjaj. Unfortunately, it's an annual issue that we have, and we had to take and resort to this measure to prevent South African citizens stealing from their fellow Hujjaj their space on Mina and Arafat.
Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Keep us in your du'as. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for one and all. May you have a Mubarak Hajj. And undoubtedly, we will talk some more. Please, please, please remember us in a very special dua, all of us here at Salam Media and our families. And we will keep you and all the Hujjaj in our du'as. Assalamu alaikum.
Ameen. Jazakallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It is exactly 9:09 News and Views on Salam Media, and a reminder that this hour of News and Views is sponsored by Africa Muslims Agency. Africa Muslims Agency, a beacon of hope to communities for over 35 years in Africa and beyond.